What's up there, YouTubers and fellow riders? The Kim is back at it again, cooking up another little DIY for you on how to inspect your brakes. Today I was riding home and my rear brakes kind of locked up on me. Well, I wouldn't say locked up, but they kind of froze into place, and it's causing a drag on the bike. And I didn't quite notice this until I was almost home already. But you know, the last thing you want is, you know, your back brake dragging against your rotor and either damaging your caliper, heating up the piston, or warping the actual the rotor. So today I'm gonna go ahead and take this off for you guys and kind of give it a visual inspection to make sure that nothing's actually interfering with the smooth sliding motion of the piston inside the caliper. So I've already gone ahead and loosened up these bolts for you. If you don't know the sizes of these bolts, they are 12. This is a 12 millimeter, and you're going to want to take off these two ends right here. But before you take those off and remove the bolts, if you're going to be removing the brake pads while this is in place, you're going to want to go ahead and remove the bottom pin, or the bottom Allen key right here, and that is a 5 in your Allen set. So I've already gone ahead and loosened these up for you for simplistic purposes, so this video is not so long. So this is a little difficult to do when the bike is actually on the stand. So this one right here, I use my ratchet right here, so to get this off. Or you can actually loosen it before you put the bike up on a stand if you do have a stand. So let's go ahead and remove this caliper real quick and see. As you can see from, hopefully you can see this, but I think it might be time for some new rotors. As a matter of fact, I mean, I don't think these have ever been changed since the life of the bike, so I might have to go ahead and order those. Looking inside the brakes here, well, I still got some pretty good brake life, but I do see that I do have uneven wear. So it was just telling me that the pistons aren't pushing evenly. So if we put this back on the bike, we can see that the backside of the plate is being worn down faster than the front side. So yeah, not to mention you can see all the dirt and debris that's built up on the actual piston. So we want to go ahead and clean those off and make sure that this piston is sliding smoothly in and out of there. So yeah, so here's the bolt I was referring to that you need to loosen up beforehand. Let me go ahead and get my tool here, pull this out so I can so you can remove the pin here that holds the brake pads in place. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Now, I hate videos that show the removing of screws and whatnot. I like to short, simple videos, get straight to the point. So, I don't know if I'm going to keep all of it, all the video in place. So, occasionally I just like to say, push pause, and I'll show you when I get through it. I think that is out. Right. Yeah, and these things are really dirty. You want to make sure all these are nice and lubed up so they slide in and out easily. So let's go ahead and remove those brake pads. There's the pin, and here are my pads. Now, I mean, the pads don't look too bad. I would say that's what, 10% life on them, maybe a little bit more. So it might be almost time for some new brake pads, which I really haven't had these that long. And if you're looking for new brake pads, I use HH, sintered HH brake pads. Some people say don't use them because it ends up, you know, wearing out your rotor faster, and yeah, it does, but I like the extra stopping power that these provide. So that's up to you. That's your preference. So looking at the pistons in here, they're pretty dirty, pretty gunked up. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean those. Actually, clean the whole assembly here, and just so I can maybe polish these out and provide some lube inside here so that they slide in and out better. But that's it for this part, unless you guys want to see me actually spray some degreaser in here. This is what I'm going to be using to clean these out. I'm going to spray these up, cover up this floor so I don't make a mess, and that's it about really for now. So I'm going to push pause while I go ahead and clean this up real quick, scrub this up, spray it down, scrub it up, and get all this gunk off there so I can see what I'm working with. See if there's any rust in between here, and just give it an overall visual inspection, and maybe lube it up with some lithium grease or something, or whatever I have on hand. So I'm going to push pause for now while I clean this up so you guys don't have to actually watch this. I know some people might be saying, oh, you didn't show me how to do it all the way. What is it to cleaning a caliper with a toothbrush? So anyways, pushing pause, get back to you in a second. Alright guys, so I went ahead and cleaned this all up for you, and I kind of stopped at a certain point because I kind of wanted you to see this and what I was referring to as far as dirt and debris blocking the smooth transition of the piston here. If you can see, I'm not sure if I can get a close-up on that, but you can actually see the dirt build up on the piston right there, and it gets really thick, and so this is just from me actually cleaning. As you can see, I did a pretty good job cleaning it. You couldn't tell that the caliper was actually gold before, but now you can really see the color come through. But at any rate, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and get rid of all this dirt that's built up on here, this brake dust and whatnot, crud, and get it all nice and smooth and shining like how you see right here. And when you're done with this, you're going to want to go ahead and spray it down with some type of lubricant. You know, if you don't have anything, I mean really some grease, some white lithium grease, something just to coat this and prevent the buildup from occurring. It's always going to occur, but you're never going to get rid of that issue. But in any case, you want to make sure that this is all nice and clean so the piston slides in and out evenly. To get the pistons out this far, I went ahead and pushed on the brake pedal a few times and pushed the pistons out as far as I possibly could. You don't want to push them too far out, just enough to get most of the surface clean. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit better, and so that there's no more gunk all over the piston, and then I'm going to spray it down with some lubricant after that. So I'm going to go ahead and push pause. No need for you guys to see me finishing cleaning this up. If you don't know how to spray a can of lubricant on there or grease it up with some lube, you shouldn't be performing this job. So I'm going to push pause and go ahead and clean this up. Alright guys, so I went ahead and greased up the inside there with some high temperature lube that I had laying around. So just something to help with the transition of the piston slide. So I'm going to go ahead and push these pistons back into place now, see if I can do it this way. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Since I'm not going to be using these brake pads anymore, they're kind of you can see they're kind of worn out, kind of funky, so I'm probably going to switch them out for some brand new ones that I have here. And but yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and push those pistons in as best as I can, and so I can get the new brake pads in. But let me go ahead and get a right tool here. Give me 1 second. Alright, so to get the brake pads in here, if you haven't ever done a brake job before, to get those pistons back in there, what I did was I just simply put the brake pads back in place, slid in the screw to help hold these pads in place. Well, I use my tool to go ahead and compress the piston in there. Like I said, since I'm not going to be using these brake pads anymore, I'm replacing them with some new ones. It's okay if I scuff them up, no big deal. And there we go. So there we go, got the piston decompressed. Let's go ahead and remove that out. And I'm going to go ahead and wipe down any leftover lubricant that's in here. You also want to clean this. It helps with sliding this in and out really easy. I also cleaned up the plate. It's around here somewhere. Here we go. Didn't do too good of a job, but cleaned it up, trying to get rid of some of that leftover crud on there. So you could take some sandpaper if you want and go ahead and sand that down, clean it off. But there we go. Pistons are in. It's all nice and clean on the inside. Let me get a rag and a paper towel or something to clean that off for a second. Make sure I don't got any grease just hanging around, because that's the last thing we want on our brakes. Yep. Clean off the outside. So I'm looking at this after inspecting this. Yeah, it was kind of dirty, but I don't think this is my real issue. My real issue was that maybe I was riding the brake too hard, the rear brake. Some people like to use their rear brakes, others don't. Now you got people on the GSXR forums saying, the rear brake only provides like 20%, 15-20% of your stopping power, when actually it's like 30%. I use my rear brake quite often, especially when I'm in traffic. A lot of times those cars have cut you off, and you need all the stopping power that you can possibly have. You want to make sure that your rear brake is fully operational, so that you actually stop. So I'm not a big fan of applying too much front brake. Don't want to go over the handlebars. So you always want to make sure that your rear brake is fully operational, just in case you do need it. So this is one of those precautionary measures. So as you can see, the rear brake looks pretty good, nice and clean. I'm going to go ahead and slap in the brake pads. First, I'm going to go ahead and clean up that main screw that goes into here, so I can slide it in out really easily and get my new pads in. So I'm going to push pause while I go ahead and get all that together. Alright guys, so I went ahead and cleaned up the bolt real quick, and also the locking pin in there. So you don't have to do it. I'm pretty anal about things. I like things clean. So there you go. I just took a little bit of some sandpaper, cleaned them out real quick, sanded it down with a little piece of sandpaper. Same thing for this one, and just pretty much cleaned it up so that I can slide it in and out very easily. So I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble this, and you really can't get this wrong, but I'm just gonna show you guys anyways. There's a way that this goes in, and it's pretty specific, so you can't do it the opposite way because it doesn't fit. So there you go. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put those in right now and slide in our pads. So there's our pads, new replacement pads. We're gonna go ahead and put them in between. And slide our pin in. And there we go. Once it's in, you slide it in place, open them up, make sure they're nice and even. Let's see here. What am I struggling with here? Okay. And if I can get this slide into place really easily, it'd be nice. Well, let me push pause while I struggle with this for a second, and then I'll get back to you. Alright, so I just had to realign it real quick and get them in there. So you can see they're in there nice and tight. Go ahead and lock my screw down, and I'm all set. Nope, popped out. Alright, so I'm gonna tighten that up a little bit tighter, but I just kind of want to show you. I'm gonna tighten it up tighter when it's actually on the bike. So right now the brake pads are in. Those are my brand new brake pads. Another thing I like to do before I button everything up, since I'm putting new brake pads, is I usually like to take a piece of sandpaper and sand both sides of the rotors, so that there's no debris, no gunk on there, and make sure I'm working with a nice fresh new rotor. So at any rate, I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble this back on the bike. I'm sure you guys don't want to see that. Assembly is the same way as you took it off. So hope this helped you out. Hit the like button if you liked it, and if you didn't, go ahead and hit the dislike, but let me know why in the comments below, and tell me why you didn't like this video and help you out. One quick thing I forgot to mention before I let you go is that in order to push the piston back, it's really easy. It's easier to do when you remove the top of the reservoir off, so that you can push the fluid back into the reservoir. So, all right, guys. See you next problem. Oh yeah, another thing I forgot to mention, and everyone usually forgets this. Before you go ahead and you jump on your bike, always make sure to push on your brake pedal a few times to get the pressure back into the system. Last thing you want to do is hop on your bike thinking you have good brakes, zoom down the street, and realize that your back brake is not working. So go ahead and remember to pump that back brake, guys. All right.